For game 3, where TSM Academy is taking on Immortals Academy. My name is Patriot. I'm still here with Coco, and it's starting to heat up here. You know, we kind of started things off slow, Coco, but starting to get a little bit spicier as Dignitas lose yet another game.
Yeah, real spicy is that one. Like, usually I can't handle spice, but the way that they drafted, pretty hot, and I don't think they could handle the heat either. Like, they wanted to play that, keep you away, arm's reach, social distance, whatever. But, you know, Gyu popped off, always landing the picks on with Zoe, and Anda as well, being able to just constantly find kick after kick and really shut down Grig during those early stages.
But, of course, now for the TSM Liquid Academy, we're going to get into champ selects. So let's talk about it here.
All right.
And I missed CLG Cloud9.
Yeah, CLG Cloud9. You know, it's one of these games where it's sort of the direct opposite of what we just watched, whereas top two teams trying to find a win to really bring about a like very separated top four, but now it's just something where Cloud9 can pretty much solidify their space in the top one seed if they're able to pick up a win here, where CLG is just fighting for survival.
Yeah, certainly I'll have to see if they can indeed do that, but the bands have actually finished here for Phase 1. Rek'Sai, Jarvan, Yuumi on the CLG side, and Kalista, Aphelios, and Senna. So CLG, big upset win over Dignitas yesterday, although I believe they are out of playoffs at this point. They are still clearly looking to play spoiler, so another top team could have their record threat, and Cloud9 currently at the top of the standings, but maybe not for long if CLG continue their rampage.
Yeah, if they do and they're able to get a shutdown here, it does still mean that Cloud9 is in that top one spot, because they would be 11 wins to only Dignitas's and Evil Genius's 10, but it does just make it a little bit more troublesome for them coming into week 9 when that does come around. You know, into this game though, you do have the first Varus of today, as well as the Aatrox, who's been sitting on the ban list.
Yeah, curious to see how that shakes out, but certainly a comfort pick there for Deus in the top lane, and actually for CLG in general. Ruin, of course, in the top lane for CLG LCS, a big player of that champion. So
yeah, I'm a little bored of the Tom Kench as well. Like, the Tom Kench is nice. It denies like all that neutralizing. Yeah, like it be like that sometimes. I don't want it to be like that no more. Like, now that Taliyah coming in, I do appreciate it as well, because I'm feeling like that's going to be that jungle Taliyah. Gonna have that Claire, gonna create some pressure with her ultimate as well, and it's exactly what you need if you want to create that shutdown capability to deny Cloud9 any of these wins. You want to be able to push people back into a place where they are uncomfortable, and Pyke, also a pick who does just that.
Yeah, I kind of like this from CLG. Pretty different, actually, from what we've seen. We did see Taliyah yesterday for Schönfire in the jungle, but definitely Peg with this Pyke is quite interesting. But we'll see what Cloud9 want to do. So far, it's been very stable for their first picks. Varus a big pick for King, and as you mentioned, Tom Kench a little boring, but certainly very safe, so you can see why teams want to pick it. And of course, Ornn is unbanned, so Ornn will be the pick.
Yeah, Ornn, you know, also that flex pick, just have that on board. You know, top and mid are the scenarios for him, and he could really go into anything that CLG throws at him. I'm still arguing that Wind and Phil are going to be picking for their mid and ADC themselves, so now you're at a situation of, okay, will Aatrox be the more tolerable matchup for Ornn, or are we going to be able to ban out a little bit more than what we expect? We do see the Zoe ban coming out on that one, so Tuesday does know he doesn't want to play against Palafox's obnoxious Zoe. And also, I think if I am sort of smelling this one out right, I did see that Draven hover a long time ago from CLG. I'm thinking an aggressive marksman or mage might be the case for Wind.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Wind does love himself some Draven, so one of the picks he at least likes to play. But we'll see if he does not actually select it here. Panth, Cassio, and that Zoe that you mentioned. I think after the last game, nobody wants to play against Zoe anymore, because you don't want to inspire the other Zoe players in the league to do what you just did to Dignitas. We'll see what the final ban here for CLG is going to be.
Yeah, I'm feeling like it might be another mid lane ban. Azir being taken away to that late game scaling. That Palafox also, he sort of gets underappreciated as well with his Azir. His Azir and his Victor are actually pretty darn good, especially for the academy scene. So that might be something to come into consideration, especially the fact that Victor has been slowly coming through as a dark horse pickup for these teams. And at this time, it also might be pretty good, right? Like you're thinking of, all right, where do we want to sort of corral CLG into? We have a very teamfight centralized composition, and Victor with that Zac lock in as well sort of speaks to that tone.
Certainly does, and Zac been picking up in popularity since the Cinderhulk and Cinder buffs from a couple patches back. I do see it in the solo lane sometimes as well, but it does feel like it's mostly jungle where Zac is still most effective, and tank junglers are kind of always on the menu, as speaking of, there is Sejuani, which means that's actually solo lane, or laning Taliyah, which we don't see nearly as much of these days.
Oh, okay, and then, okay, so now it's going to be, it is still an aggressive pick, but I'm feeling that it is going to be Taliyah and Pyke bottom lane, now that it comes into full form. And with that as well, it also means that you also have the Sylas to sort of counteract that Ornn when it does come around. Nothing else is truly strong for Sylas to steal outside of the Ornn Horn. Like you could argue maybe King Zavaris, who King himself has been doing splendidly on the champion, and with that final lock-in with Camille, we're going to have quite the bloody bout in this top end.
I'm down. You know, Fudge, he was on duty for so long, you know, when he first joined the league, and now finally being freed up to play, you know, some of the more aggressive champions that have kind of been happening in the top lane as well. So I like it. Certainly a cool counter pick there for Camille into Aatrox. We'll see if Fudge can navigate the matchup. Otherwise, pretty standard for C9 and pretty exciting for CLG. You called it out, the Taliyah Pyke bot lane, not something we see that often, but it is awfully effective if you can get it going.
Yeah, it's something that it answers that checkbox that I was putting into question with that Draven hover, is that, okay, we want something aggressive. We want to be able to just shut down this Varus Kench bottom lane that has been so successful with Cloud9, and doing just that with someone that can make those picks, make those plays, and then get out with free of charge, especially with Pyke as it is. So have to see how well CLG is going to play that one out, as Win and Phil have been having a rough go at it since the start.
Yeah, I mean, CLG as an orc have been having a rough go of it all split long, unfortunately for them. But, you know, this is maybe time to show off. You know, we can play more unique champions. We can, you know, be aggressive as a team. I think for a lot of the CLG players right now, it's kind of about showing your best and just kind of upsetting these #1 teams that were supposed to be going undefeated and the like.
Yeah, like it's still surprising to me how well these academy teams have been able to develop, and it's something where I wanted to touch on it a little bit last game, but it's this double-edged sword of having C9 Academy and Dig Academy, who I would argue do have an argument to be in the LCS with how powerful they are as a team, but it means everyone else, the very bottom power level, also comes up with it. Like, you drag the bottom up with you when you have such a strong team, and it helps tone and hone everyone. You know, iron sharpens iron as it is. So I'm really excited to see how well CLG is going to be able to sort of reform and repair themselves coming into week 8 and week 9.
We'll see how this comp shakes out in just a moment. As a reminder, we are going to a break for a 5-minute delay to build up for competitive integrity, so don't go too far. We'll see you after this. Welcome back. As a reminder, we have 5 minutes of delay just to preserve competitive integrity. We'll be bringing you CLG Academy versus Cloud9 Academy in just a moment. And Coco, as we were talking about, something a bit different here for CLG Academy as far as the comps go, which is nice to see.
Yeah, I really like it. I like the fact that, unlike Dignitas, I have a lot more hope for this composition that's a little bit more spicy than the one that we had last game, just because it still keeps to those traditional sort of setups that you want to have in this meta, right? Like, you want a little bit more of a fighting top side. You want to have that utility with the jungle. It's not all spread out and sort of solely focused on just the team condition. You still have player conditions that you can play around and really optimize to full effect.
Now, is part of all that package to have Dark Harvest for your Taliyah bot lane? Because that is one I do not see too often, but I like it for Wind.
Right? Like, you see usually like Electrocute for that additional burst, but when you're trying to do something where you want to take out King and Diamond as much as possible, and when you are successful with that, Dark Harvest secures that condition almost like immediately, because then you're getting that damage more and more optimized through the game. It becomes this constantly scaling factor of, well, we're able to get the damage and we're going to be able to secure those kills, which means C9 is never going to have that chance to really try and swing back until it becomes like a full team effort into that mid-game stage.
I think you certainly point out kind of the right place to attack if you're CLG. It makes sense with the bot lane they've drafted, but King and Diamond have been phenomenal for the back half of the season, especially. I mean, at one point, Cloud9 Academy were looking really miserable in the early weeks of Academy, but they have rallied all the way back to be the current #1 team as far as the standings goes, and they are playing the lowest place team, but CLG Academy certainly did not look like last place yesterday.
No, they definitely didn't, and it's something that, seeing how CLG has slowly progressed and caught up and sort of found an identity for themselves, that's all the better. But you see, that's exactly what you want from Phil and Wind. Get that damage onto Diamond, get it onto King, get this brutish amount of pain, so that once you hit that level 2 spike, you're really going to have a capability to find first blood.
Yep, again, still battling back and forth, but I think Phil and Wind might hit level 2 first, and with enough minions there, they're going to zone them away. Hook onto King, and level 2 is good. The stun going to land. That will force the flash, but there's the flick back from Wind. No ignite though, and Phil's taking a little too much damage. He's gotten stunned. I think he might be dead. Exhaust out. Diamond gonna flash in. He's level 1, but he's still good enough to get first blood. As now Tuesday and Palafox fighting in mid lane as Wind is forced to flash in bot. Action-packed in the first 3 minutes here.
Oh my goodness, and they're still level 1. Okay, now they're level 2. There you go. But Diamond and King able to turn that one around.
Again.
And Phil.
It's gotten slowed.
No. All right.
Sums.
Yeah, no summoners.
Oh, Wind.
Oh.
He's just thrown it all the way. The last auto is good, and King takes him out, and it's gone from tragedy to comedy, I think, in the bottom lane there. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, not too far between tragedy and comedy.
Yeah.
There's not a big gap, and truly it has gone down to that point. Like we were saying, you have the potential to secure kills if you get them online, but they weren't able to find that one, and now it's just gone all awry. So, you know what? This is a good call from Fragus. All right, bot lane is a little bit scuffed. Let's go ahead and see if we can get Deus ahead.
Yep, looking for the stun in top side, but Inori also taking heat in the mid lane as Tuesday starting to get aggressive on the Silas. Second time we've seen that champion today in the mid lane. But Fudge also escaped without using his summoner spell, so he looks like he'll be just alright here.
Yeah, this is like the second time that we see this today, this matchup of Silas and Ornn, and it's going to be pretty much the same story, where Tuesday is always going to have the lane pressure on his side, but he's never going to have kill pressure, because it's just Ornn. It's just what he thrives in. He's never going to let you take him down. His King now gets snared up, and this is something that, even though it has gone comical to that early point, Phil and Wind still have that potential to create some kills elsewhere, as long as they have now a little help from their friends.
Yep, certainly got the pressure, although King does have the CS lead up 11 right now, but we'll see if that levels out in the next few minutes. It does also kind of ring true to me as like a testament to how good Ornn's ultimate is, when like the counter pick people go for is like, yeah, let's just take it.
Yeah.
That's the best
like,
thing you can do. Like, don't pick Fiora, like, don't heavily counter pick it, like, don't try and out-farm it necessarily. Just take the ulti and maybe do this. Gank in mid lane here, Sejuani Silas, very potent 2v2, and Palafox gonna get locked up with no flash and nowhere else to run to, and Q's gonna erupt, but he's so tanky! He doesn't die!
Yeah, that's just what you want. Ornn denies all those kills because he's just so darn tanky. What's better than stealing his ulti than stealing his life for just a little moment, but unable to do that, just so close to death, and now he can go back and just sort of heal back up. Deus, though, is doing fairly well for himself in that trade. Fudge not really respecting him for just a hair, but now it's really just playing the waiting game for C9, seeing if they can get King online. The one thing that we really didn't touch on was the fact that he did go Corrupting Potion initially. So in hindsight, you're like, that's a great play, because you expect Wind and Phil to immediately jump on you and just like poke you down, and Corrupting Potion allows you to sort of trade back efficiently when that need arises. But here, Inori actually sees if he can smell him out.
Really nice. There's the Kulo landing in, needs to get a minion, slaps happen, and Fudge now going to try and chase it down, but Conqueror procking still only level 4 for the Camille, and Tuesday just getting aggressive on the other side, straight onto Palafox with the Conqueror proc. The Pillar's still there, but Pala does not dash in. Again, no need to get overly aggressive, and just continuing to trade his top lane again. Deus now level 6, Inori getting slapped down, but he's got his passive ready to go, and are they going to be able to kill the Aatrox? Here's Fragus streaming in, turns it back around. That's going to be the double kill over the first one to Fragus, and the second very likely donated to Deus, as the Bloblets will get killed, and CLG go 2 for 0 in the top lane.
And what was such a terrible ending for the bottom lane for CLG has now turned in favor for them in this top side. Almost a repeated story. And Palafox, I don't know if that's the right call, buddy.
So good there from Tuesday, setting it up with the ulti, and what a roam from Phil with the ignite to finish it all off. So we thought it was all over when C9's bottom lane got ahead, but the rest of CLG really making it work.
Yeah, and that, I'd have to say, is really in the hands of Fragus and Deus, reading the map and understanding, okay, our bottom lane, it had a hiccup. We need to really throw this in onto the top side, and perfect for it, because you have that Aatrox. You have the capability to always try and fight for that pressure, and did so they have. So now you're sitting for CLG like, okay, let's see if we can actually get Shelly now. We have this top lane pressure. Get Shelly when she comes up, and then really double down on that.
Looks like the ganks aren't stopping though again. Sejuani very good with his melee champions in the solos. Deus going to continue to get aggressive here onto Fudge. Lands that chain as well. Just everything working so smoothly, and now Fudge will get out of there, but he's going to be forced to flash from the Sejuani. Also another good force there by Fragus and Deus in the top lane, but Palafox turning it back around. Ignite down. This is the on combo that everybody hates to see. The stun not time for Tuesday, and Palafox with a solo kill in mid lane.
Yeah, I don't know what Tuesday was doing there, but Palafox just sort of jumped on it immediately, and now that means that Inori, who did start that dragon in the meantime, has absolute control over this bottom end. Go ahead, take that Cloud Drake for yourself, and honestly, just one Cloud Drake is enough to be worrisome, because especially with the team comp that C9 has concocted, you've got way less time in between breaks when you have Inori and Palafox just throwing down these engagement tools left and right.
Well, I appreciate how action-packed these first 8 minutes have been. 6 kills in the first 8 minutes, as both these teams just coming out swinging. We'll even up on kills. C9 are a little bit ahead in gold as a result of how the farm has gone, especially in bot lane, but CLG certainly not going down without a fight here.
No, not for sure. Like, it's pretty darn good that CLG is really fighting tooth and nail, and that's something that keeps is commendable for them. The fact that they have learned so far, and you're saying that C9, they struggled in the early season. They went like 0-4 or something, and then immediately popped off and started doing well. CLG, as long as you're able to sort of compete with that growth, honestly, it is already a win in itself.
Oh, Phil gonna get rooted down by the Varus ulti, and that's a kill. Very nicely played as Diamond secures it up, and does feel like we're overreaching at times here for Phil. I mean, he had that great roam in mid lane, but then the 2v2 that went wrong, and now that 2v2 that went wrong. Yeah. So it seems like when Phil gets out of his lane, he's really in his element, but in lane has been a really bad time.
Yeah, there is sort of that trade-off, right? Like, you'll have players that are absolute monsters in laning phase, and then when they get out of it, they're a little bit awkward in these team fights. And I want to see if Deus is sort of like that as well, if he starts to have hiccups when it comes down to those clutch team fight scenarios. But that might actually come to fruition here as Tuesday in trouble.
What a steal. Trying to lock down King, but the rest of CLG actually in there. Good devour there by Diamond. Fudge going to move in, going to try and take out Tuesday, who does flat, but Palafox with a wonderful ulti as C9 just turn it back around. King knew exactly what his limits were there, I feel like, with Diamond behind him. Is Tuesday going to dive back in, but he's going to fall as well as Diamond. Gets yet another kill, and now Inori, he'll finally be given over, but he's actually eating blobs as best he can. The honey fruit's still there, more blobs, not enough. Deus finally taking down the jungler.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Cloud9 left him to the wolves on that one. He's like, guys, help out, see if we can get a catch. They're like, nah, we're going to just get mid lane pressure, push that one out, and then go back, no problem. They were also able to get the Herald, though, so it was really just Inori wasting as much time as possible, going back, getting the Shelly, and now you can see where they want to put it. I definitely say, you know what, just fully invest it into this bottom side. King has been doing amazing in this bottom end, and no other way to put it than just to double down on him. And he is going the lethality poke Varus as well, so I think that's something that you have to compliment him on top of, is that it's this different like untraditional pickup and build style that he's just doing so well on.
Yeah, certainly an older style of build, and one that I think Cloud9 will need to keep applying pressure with. But as far as the early game goes, like, they're set up to take over this mid game, combined for 5-0 and 5. Of the 6 kills that Cloud9 have, Diamond and King have clearly been a central part of all the action so far. So, looking good. Still looking for that first tower gold as well, and still looking for Inori to drop the Shelly that he did have to sacrifice his life for. But still plenty of time here in the early game for C9 to snowball that advantage. Already up about 1,500 gold. We'll see how much bigger that can get once we've hit the 20-minute mark.
And I think that's the key word, is what advantages they can get in the early game. Because I still have a concern with just how King builds with Varus. Because like poke Varus, when you get ahead, it feels amazing. But the thing is, it eventually scales downwards. Like, people will get armor, they'll get defenses, and your poke isn't going to be as reliable as, say, like if Zoe was absolutely fed. You don't have that additional scaling from your kit to help out with those styles of like play. And it has to sort of go into the dependency of the rest of C9's team to find damage elsewhere, to make Fudge unstoppable. As now CLG invests to shut down King.
Ooh, nice ult there from King, actually trying to keep wind out of the fight, but Inori going to turn it back around as Fragus is here, but Inori missing everything else, and a great ult hits King. Inori going to bounce away, but I think he knows he has to give up his life in this situation.
Tuesday.
Here comes the All-Nauts as well, does find both. CLG still fighting, but Diamond finally with the Devour going to try and keep King safe, but King not going to live a lot longer. That's 2 shutdowns in a row as Phil finds the ulti, and CLG bring 5 people to the bot lane.
Now it was perfect there from CLG. They came in with the bait, and Fragus, that beautiful snare with the Glacial Prison to just get it through, arc it past the rest of C9 and lock it down onto King. And immediately when that happened, you saw the teleport come in from Tuesday and Deus saying, all right, we've got that to waste enough time to allow us to come in and secure this kill and secure this fight. And really now it's a question of how much are they going to be able to gain back, because yeah, you get the kills, you get the 2 shutdowns, but can you get anything off of the map? Dragon has just come up, you weren't really able to get any turret plates, so C9 isn't truly feeling the hurt. There's still just 1,000 gold behind.
Yeah, certainly a tenable lead this early on. Still waiting for Inori to figure out where he wants to try and get some plates for, but looks like bottom lane is a pretty juicy target. Palafox though going to get stunned up here by Phil in mid. No, just missed after the dash. And TP in as well for Fudge, who has to get immediately out of there. Even has to flash out as well, so both sums burnt in a number of seconds as CLG look to aggress onto this Mountain Drake, as the Herald was popped in bot lane, but you better get out of there because you know the rest of the squad's coming.
Yeah, here they come. Okay, you're getting a good amount of Shelly hits from that one. Actually dropped it down, I believe, 1 turret plate. So getting that onto King and Inori, pretty darn good for themselves, I'd have to say. Like, when you're able to take that many turret plates just from a punishment on that one, it really nullifies that win that CLG had in that team fight just a few moments ago, because all that gold that you sort of gave away, you have compensated for. And looking at how this Mountain Dragon congestion might come down, you do have vision in your favor as well. So even though C9 has slipped, they really haven't fumbled just yet.
No, still, again, keeping the game pretty well balanced. I think both teams are slowing down a little bit, realizing, okay, we maybe did a little too much fighting in the early games. They're trying to consolidate where they did get their leads. Deus has taken his lead to the Dragon, as Fudge is still in the top side with no TP. So if C9 do want to fight for this Drake, they're going to have to do it without a member, but there's the ulti out of Ornn. Palafox locks down Fragus, gets low, and the Drake does go over to C9. They get the kill as well. Inori, though, will be the sacrifice, but again, in a 4v5, C9 will take it.
Yeah, that's not too bad, but you know, it's all a question of how much they could grab back before Deus arrives. Deus is massive on this Aatrox, being 3-0, and he's going to walk himself back up to the top side. Fudge is on a timer. He needs to get out soon before he gets trapped in the Claws of Death, as also Palafox also in a little bit of trouble. Need to get out of there as well.
Continues to be okay. On again, very robust. So that 2v1 looked a bit scary, but they're alright with it. Bottom tower also falls, so Cloud9 fully collect the bonus tower gold, but they did not get the last plate, I believe. But still happy to get that gold, and now they're back in the gold lead by a couple hundred. But yeah, talking about Deus, he has been probably the most consistently impressive player for CLG Academies since he joined the team. Like, again, like a lot of top laners was playing on because that was kind of what was in. We've seen his Gangplank, we've seen his Cassio, his Aatrox also looking really good. And Trinity Force is not something you see very often on Aatrox, but I feel like Deus is like a professional Trinity Force builder because with the exception of Cassio, I feel like all the other champs he likes to play, he wants to build Trinity Force on. He was a Gangplank one trick a long time ago, and I feel like that's the mentality of buying the Triforce is just carried on.
Right, and exactly, and the thing is that's what CLG needs out of like Deus right now, is they need this reliability and this performance. And Bill seeing if he could grab Fudge there, but to the point of Deus, it's like you've been having so much more problems in other parts of the map, like Wind not doing too hot. Stixay, when he came down to the academy, was also really underperforming. So having Deus here always being that reliable pillar to sort of build around and work out with, even if it's a Trinity Force like one trick, it's still something that helps them out to sort of gain a sense of identity and win conditions.
Even with the Dustblade there as well, just harassing down Paula Tuesday in the mid lane. It looks like CLG are just trying to run a bit of a distraction because it's Rift Herald that they want to grab here, and with 4 people already on the objective, that will be taken down easily. And Deus may continue to grow a lead here if Fragis wants to drop that top side. We'll see where he does want to use it in a moment. But for now, CLG keeping the gold even as these two teams have just been punching each other in the face for the last 17 minutes.
There's no set in this game, but there's been a lot of punches going on, left and right, and I'm just waiting for the actual showstopper from either of these teams, like whether it's either the unique King Flash ultimate to start an engagement, or even Deus coming in and just absolutely pub stomping everyone in a fight. As a matter of fact, speaking of fight, Palafox looking to see if he could find Wind.
Just missing that for Palafox, but I like the attempt. Wind does hold on to his Flash. But again, I like that both these teams have been staying very proactive. In fact, Inori's in there. He suspects that there are people in the brush, and he is right. But Phil dashes out and stuns Inori on the exit, so no follow-up available there for the Zac. In fact,
and I think this is now at that point where you were saying that, you know, both C9 and CLG were playing slow. They were wanting to test the waters a little bit. Now they've gotten their confidence back. Power spikes are back online. The Wind is playing a little bit untraditionally with this build. He went for the Hextech Revolver and the Lost Chapter, so not really sure which item he wants to finalize out just yet. So it does mean his Power Spike is going to come a little bit later with that item going to be completed. As now Deus trying to see if he can continue this aggression on the top side and open up the map a little bit more for his team.
Fudge, you know, wants to be playing the split pushing game, but has to stop off for an early Executioner's calling. Now in a 1v1 that absolutely he cannot win. Nice side Q there from Deus, but Fudge actually calling in reinforcements, but Fragis is here as well. Palafox way too late, and already diving in. They will actually get the trade kill, so the shutdown onto Deus is good. But the ult there from Tuesday, I don't think got a knockup, so now Fragis is left all alone with King roaming after Comet, almost enough to kill Tuesday. Last auto is good enough for it, certainly. And now Frag is still getting chased, and Ori and Palafox should be able to grab this, but Wind is going to try and run interference. Where does he go? There's the ulti out of Palafox. They're just going to completely cut him off at the pass, as Nori will get the kill, and C9 find a very favorable trade.
Yeah, faster on the draw. C9 was able to collapse, and CLG was just left in the dust. Nori, though, going to see if he can steal the blue buff. That is not there. But in the end, it was just C9 being able to not only deny a little bit of the assistance coming in from CLG for their team to arrive earlier, but also the fact that, you know, you're able to shut down Deus. A lot of that gold going over to Inori to help really create this massive Zac that is just going to be obnoxious to deal with, that's going to be messing with the front line of CLG. And especially when this Ocean Drake is going to be coming up, you need exactly that. You need a chaotic tank to help sort of break up this more obnoxious and scrappy CLG comp.
Once again, Drake up in a second actually, so Cloud9 going to have to get there pretty quickly. but we talked about the gold lead only being, you know, 1,000 for either team in the early game. Well, that's blown open now. Cloud9 a couple thousand gold ahead. There's the ult from King looking for it. Flash ults onto Phil. Fragis turns it back around, but the Devour once again good from Diamond. Here's Deus though, ready to slam jam his way through the fight. The stone play pop though for Diamond means he's going to be alright. And now Nori going to bounce around. Huge three-man knockoff, turns it around as Phil dies the King, and it's just absolute carnage in the back end of this fight. Make it 3 for Cloud9 already. There's the 4th, and the 5th, the final, will be Wind taken down as well as Cloud9 find the ace.
And it was a question of who's going to be stronger with their unique play, the flash ultimate from King or the brute force of Deus, and that answer has been made. King starting the fight and helping his team organize that chaos that CLG wanted to thrive in, and creating a perfect team fight to start in, and creating Inori also to get that beautiful 3-man knockup and securing the ban for their team as well. What a wonderful fight for this one to break open this game.
I really like what Cloud9 did there. Just straight for the Baron, ignore the Drake. You know, as soon as they get that clean ace, they're even going to TP down to make sure they maintain initiative out on the map. I mean, we can see that Phil is checking it, but really he can just only ward for now, and the rest of Cloud9 should be there to grab it without too much trouble. Oh, actually, CLG are going for it. Never mind.
Yeah, they're hard rushing it. We saw the TP come in from Deus to sort of help secure it, but is something that, you know, I don't know if that was truly necessary because we didn't have any other TPs being called out, but, you know, at this point, you want to make sure they do not have that Dragon Soul contested. You're able to take that one away, help deny them that scaling for just a little bit longer, and it just means 5 minutes left until Dragon Soul is back onto an option to get closer to.
I think I may have misread my TP colors as Wind charging in. They're going to trap Palafox outside the tower, but Inori saying, no, you're trapped in here with
this is bad news.
Gonna get the knockup, but the Palafox combo is good as Inori bounces out as well, and Wind dies to 2 tanks effectively there from a screen away.
Tank meta, it's just nuts right now. Inori, see if he could find Tuesday. He does, but he's gonna have to just get back to his team and reinforce this siege. Now Deus on this off flank here. Could he find? He's hunting for King. He knows he's really low. He is really green for it, but decided to back away and answer Fudge on this bottom end. So now it is truly C9's game to lose, and CLG is scrambling to find a sense of just any condition to bring themselves back into this game.
Going to be a long wait here. 7,500 gold up now for Cloud9, which is pretty obscene amount given how early we are into this game. Sure, CLG did at least stop the Soul from coming up so quickly, but as we mentioned in previous games, you know, splitting Drakes isn't so bad. I mean, for Cloud9, they'd be happy just to keep snowballing the advantage. For CLG, it feels a bit more frantic, like they had to stop the snowball somehow. So Cloud9 can shrug it off. They'll get 2 Drakes if they need it, and Phil's gonna die, because Fudge, that's the 1v1 he certainly can win.
Yeah, that's not going to be any fun for Phil whatsoever, but as it is, seeing if they can just sort of staunch the bleeding in any shape or form for CLG. Luckily, they have the wave clear to do so. Like, you have Wind's Talia, you can create some chaos there. Palafox diving underneath this turret, he's confident he has the damage.
He's got the exhaust down as well, gets the ulti out, but Fragis is there to defend, as Inori was also thinking about coming over the wall. But still, this Baron's on for 40 more seconds. They're breaking down in hit towers at lightning fast speed. Inori diving back in as well. Going to get the Let's Bounce. The tower is dead. Fragis on the front side looking to die. As Deus going to be the real target they're trying to go for here. Fragis are already dead. He's just so squishy as Deus barely able to get away as Inori flies in there to try and get more happening. And it does feel like Cloud9 just going to end the game. Tuesday blown to pieces as King gets kill number 5. And Cloud9 Academy just bursting through the doors and taking down CLG's base.
And this is perfectly what you want for C9, to show that you can end the game whenever you want. And coming to break this one in, Fudge in a little bit of trouble.
Still in there, Inori with a double slap, 2 champs heads smashed together. As Fudge leaps over the Nexus, C9 just styling at this point. Wind and Phil, they're trying desperately to save the day, but it started with them losing their fight in bot lane, and it may well end with them dying again. Fudge crushes Wind after the Hextech ultimatum, and Cloud9, they don't have any minions. That's the only reason this game is taking any longer, as Palafox is dancing in front of the inhibs. Gonna maybe die.
Worry about it. Ooh, close? Yeah, he might fall here.
Feeling the ulti, nice Devour there from Diamond. No, it actually just doesn't matter. It's Cloud9, too far ahead, too stylish, and gonna end this game. They'll knock down the last Nexus turret, and the Nexus will fall. Like CLG Academy can't do anything but bend to Cloud9's will. 24 minutes and 18 seconds, and our third game is done, Coco.
And that was the fastest game today, at least, a complete replication of what had happened yesterday with C9, making sure these games are super fast. But, I look at that game for CLG and I'm like, hey, you did pretty darn good in that early stage. You were able to punch blow for blow trading with just the overall success rate in top lane with Deus, and you're able to sort of compensate for your losses that you had in the bottom end. But then you had what C9 needed to do and sort of like finish with what their homework is making sure that when they get a lead, they're able to close it out whenever. Because that whole entire game was finished by just one team fight.
Yeah, I think the individual skill you can see there for CLG, right? Like the individual plays, how good Deus is as a laner, what Win can bring to the table, and what Fracas does when he's, feeling on as a jungler and actually chain ganking these lanes. But C9 have as much, if not more, individual skill, and the team play has clearly been built up even more significantly. Because like you said, they basically snapped their fingers and the game ended. They felt like they were playing with their food at the end of the game.
Yeah, and that's what you want. Like, especially when you're watching Academy games and your big question when you have those fights is, what are you playing for? What is the objective that you're trying to contest over? And when you have a fight that immediately goes like that, it's like, we're looking for Baron. We get the fight, we make the play, we get the Baron, we go home, and we win the game. And it's just trying to make sure you're always 5 steps ahead of your opponent when you are in the driver's seat. And that's just a recipe for success for C9.
Yeah, Cloud9 Academy moved to 12-4. They are 2 wins ahead now of both EG and Dig, so very clearly sitting pretty at first place. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, it's 100 Academy aiming to take down FlyQuest.